Line Studio?
Line Studio,
Line
Houston.
Studio in Houston, Texas.
Hey.
This is my old friend James Heron, and we are in his Pilates studio. We're going to talk a little bit today about Pilates and what it means and like types of exercises that people are doing and how it might be beneficial for the kind of exercise programs that you'd like to do. But first, let James tell you a whole bunch about himself and the studio and what's going on here.
Okay, hi, I'm James Heron. I've been doing this since 1986. I ran Houston Ballet Strength Training Program for about 30 years. This facility has been open about 5 years and have brought in experts with several different areas of expertise in physical movement. Athletic trainers, massage therapists, Pilates instructors, even a Eldoa person.
An Eldoa person?
Mm-hmm. An Eldoa is another movement type.
It's another movement type?
Yes.
It wasn't something from Lord of the Rings, was
No,
it?
it's a little weird. Have a Feldenkrais person, so we've kind of done a multidisciplinary approach, which is a little bit different.
Nice. Okay. Over the number of years you've been doing Pilates, and the types of things that people are looking for. Let's say we're over 40 and we're deconditioned, or we're trying to get back into conditioning. We're going to come see you. So what can we expect in terms of from Pilates that I won't necessarily get at a big box gym?
We tend to look at the body as a whole, as opposed to where a bodybuilder might say, I just want to build up my biceps. We would tend to look at, well, why are your biceps underdeveloped? Are you moving improperly? Are you having a problem with the base? We tend to focus more on the ability to move properly than aesthetic changes, although aesthetic changes do occur with this. It's a much different view of things.
So the focus then from the Pilates aspect, at least the over 40 is coming in, it's more on a functional
Correct.
type of thing.
It's become much more functional movement as opposed to just fitness, and fitness means different things than it did 40 years ago when I started doing this.
Yeah, fitness does mean a lot of different things to different people. Somebody who is fit for running is not necessarily fit for football.
Correct.
Right, so it means different things for different people. Most day-to-day activities, being able to move, not feeling stiff when you wake up in the morning, or later in the day you're just kind of moving around, or getting out of breath going up and down stairs. That's what you,
and that's one of the things I look at on people is what's the weakest link here. This person's got poor cardiovascular health, has trouble moving around, but their balance is so bad they're afraid they're going to fall every 5 minutes. So the first thing, you approach one thing at a time.
Sure.
That's a pretty common thing, and a lot of times I do actually ask people, they say, I want to get fit. I'm like, well, what does that mean to you? I don't know. Do you want to parasail, or do you want to be able to pick up your grandkid? And I'll tell you if I think you can do that.
Right.
Often people would come in and say, I want you to train me like you do the ballerinas. And I'm like, well, are you 18 years old doing 12-hour, highly difficult days and have been for 10 years? Or are you a soccer mom who never gets off the couch? I'll kill you if I do that.
I do a lot of cycling, as a lot of people know, and I would tell people come in and say, well, can you help train me like the pros? And I'm like, you're not a pro cyclist. And neither am I.
Yeah.
I'm a recreational cyclist.
You have enough knowledge to know you're not a pro. They don't even have enough knowledge to know they don't know how to do it. Yeah.
This is where I want to be, but that's not a practical solution, because you're not on a national team. You're not trainings like this. This is not everything about a national level ballerina in that category, or a dance company, or stage performances like live theater
or a
type
football
of stuff.
player.
Yeah, those guys are doing things and have training programs and people around them that keep them in a zone for what they need to do.
Right. Like I was working for Cirque du Soleil, and the clients were like, we want to do what you do with them. Well, they're 20-year-old contortionists who've been trained since they were 4. and the risk involved in the things they have to do is not appropriate for a normal person.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
This applies to just about anything in life. I teach high-speed and evasive driving as well, and people will come to me and say, I want to learn like a pro, and I'm like, you probably don't. You want to learn it at a hobbyist level, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they don't even know what's getting involved in that. That's a lifetime of finding things you're not good at and trying to make them better.
Yeah, high-speed driving is certainly a different risk category.
Yeah.
Right? You know, when you think about that, you
I quit skiing. Yeah, a client come back with 2 broken legs and a broken arm. Yeah. I was like, all right, I'm out. I might kill a car, but I'll be okay.
Yeah.
All right, I have killed a car.
Well, you know, live and learn.
Yeah. It wasn't an expensive car.
Certainly not afterwards.
No.
So, you know, even that, like, there's skills and training that, you know, you can teach people here that on a hobbyist level.
Absolutely.
To start them getting in there. So there are exercises to do to reach that next level of performance.
Right. Yeah. And having that goal in your mind. I mean, again, I have a lot of elderly clients. They want to be able to pick up their grandkid. Well, that's a goal they'll work for. It's serious to them. They want that, and we can work towards it, and we can measure it. And usually they find they have a little further goal after that.
Yeah.
But I find people who set goals, they need to do small goal setting instead of, in 5 years, I want to have a perfect body. Well, your motivation's not going to last 5 years. I mean, it's too nebulous. You got to have some chunks along the way.
The aesthetics bound athlete, when they come in, it's their goals. Sometimes they're just not necessarily achievable, but it's just, if they are achievable, they're just it's just not. I don't know what to say. It's not in the cards. You know, you can't take someone who has been relatively inactive for 45 years and then they want to have a 6-pack abs and they're trying to diet their way down, you know, and lose that 75 to 100 pounds. It certainly can happen, but for the majority of people that they fail at diets because diets are, they don't work over long term, or they achieve the goal and then they
go back to their old habits.
So it's not a lifestyle change. So functional patterns and movement patterns that are done here, especially with Pilates, are super efficient for helping people maintain their joint health and their overall muscular health.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said. My athletic trainer was teasing me. I was doing something crazy in here, and he said, "You have old man strength." And I was like, "Old man strength? What's that?" And I had to go look it up. And it's, you get a guy who's been doing the same thing for 40 or 50 years. It doesn't even occur to me that it's difficult. I'll go pull out some of the super high-end ones, but that's because I've literally done it so many times. If you're new at 45, it's going to take the rest of your life to get there, but you can still improve quite a bit. But you're probably not going to be opening for the Bolshoi Ballet or running back for the Texans. But you can always improve.
Yeah, and a lot of this stuff to improve upon is not, you have muscle strength, but prior to getting the muscle strength, you have a motor learning curve.
And that's often ignored, particularly in the gyms. They just, a lot of these people shouldn't be lifting weights. They don't even know where their hands and feet are. And when I first moved into public training versus working exclusively with athletes, I remember having an epiphany as I watched a man pull a lat pull bar into his own skull twice. Yeah, and I was like, what the hell? And then I thought about it. This guy was 70 years old. He had literally sat in a chair at his desk, sat at home, watched TV, and hadn't done anything physical in at least 50 years. Right. It was just so eye-opening. Oh my God, how could you? And then I realized if you cut him loose in a class, he's going to kill himself. He doesn't have he can learn it, but who's going to teach it to him? There's nobody to really do that, and that's where we started going much more functional.
And I can tell you from the physical therapy clinic that I work out of, I have clients come in all the time, especially older ones. Everything they try to do is super fast. They
Yeah.
try to gun it through. There's no attention to it, and one of my difficulties is trying to slow them down.
Yeah.
And try to give them ranges of things that they can do to be successful. And I'm sometimes largely unsuccessful a lot of times to be able to do it. Have you found any tips for that?
A lot of times I'll explain to them, somebody actually explained this to me when I started high-speed driving. The throttle is not an on-off switch, it's a dial. And when people first learn to do a motion, the best you can get out of them is they kind of flap around. But as they get the proprioception up, you can start, say, all right, do that at 50%. Do that. Okay. But at the very beginning, they simply can't. You're not even speaking the same language to them.
Sure.
And it takes, that's a lot of my grad school was in motor learning and sports psych, and I use it an awful lot, trying to figure out how do I get the response out of this person?
It's difficult. It's difficult, and it's at some point you just go, I've got so many other people in the room here, and I need to go from person to person, so how do I mitigate this quickly, you know? And I'm glad I'm talking to you today, because it's like I'm not the only one.
Oh no, it's a real, and I'm really good at, and somebody once told me diplomacy was the art of letting people have their idea. So frequently I get people, they know what the problem is, but they don't know how to say it in scientific language. So a lot of what I'm trying to do is figure out what they're actually saying and what they're desiring.
Right.
And let them have some successes and say, okay, move that at half speed. You're not going to be able to get them to do it right. Can you get them to do it a little more right?
A little bit, yes.
And a variety of different tips. And honestly, I start with certain cues that work most of the time, and I just do it by percentages. 70% of the time you show it this way and it'll work. Okay, it's not working, I'm going to go to the one that does 20% of what's left. All right, that doesn't work, I go to the smaller one, and I have it in order, and usually by the second or third one, they're like, and it's interesting when you do get to people about the third or fourth cue, they're like, well, why did you say that the first time? And usually, if they're very kinesthetic, they thought they were terrible in high. I'm very uncoordinated. I can't do anything. It's like, no, nobody ever taught you the way you learn. You got to feel it.
Yes.
I tried to learn when I started driving race cars. I tried to learn from video games. I can't do it. I have to feel the movement. To this day, I can't do it. And as soon as you put me in there, I can feel it. But I'm one of those people that you can't show me. I have to do it.
I think that's very true. I think one of the problems that people have is they try to watch a video, or you have a trainer who will sit down beside them, or a physical therapist sits down beside them and says, okay, we're going to do, a pelvic tilt. Okay. And you say, what the hell's a pelvic tilt? Oh, okay, well, flatten your back into my hand. Well,
how do I do that?
How do I do that? Like, well, don't use your legs. What?
Yeah.
You know, and it takes a long time for people, if they don't have any kinesthetic sense, to figure out, I need to.
It's like learning another language. There's nothing wrong with that. Have the courage to be stupid at something. You're only going to get better.
It is a challenge. The ego of people that come in gets in the way of their ability to allow themselves to get better. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look stupid. Yeah. Well, who's looking?
Yeah. One of my favorite things. We have a group that teaches yoga in Houston, or at least did before pandemic, and it was kind of an interesting setup. They would go to local breweries. Okay. It was called Yoga and Hops, and for $20 you got a yoga class and a beer. And several of my male friends were like, I don't want to go there. They wanted to meet women. And I was like, well, you should go there. You'll meet girls. Well, I don't want to go there. I'll look stupid. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, but you'll be the only guy there. And I mean, how bad is it? And that we do, particularly men tend to worry very much about looking silly. To be honest, I've been racing cars about 20 years now. I'm getting a little bored. I'm looking for something else I can be stupid at and start over.
It sounds like he's about to take off at aircraft racing.
Oh, no. I would like to try base jumping, but I don't like the idea if you die when you make a mistake. If I make a mistake,
race car driving, what are you talking about? You do die when you make a mistake.
Yeah, not really. I've been written lots of wrecks that haven't died.
No, yeah, okay.
But no, it's part of what makes life interesting, to find something you want to do and see how that goes. Everybody starts from scratch.
Yeah.
And I think in school, I really didn't like phys ed. And looking back, I think it's that you get a couple of genetic freaks in there, and those are held out as examples for the rest of the students. But the rest of us can't do that.
Yeah.
We have to go through, and they say, well, here, just be like Bobby. Well, Bobby's a freak. He can do it. I need some training. Bobby can't train you because he didn't have to learn how to do it. He could just do it.
Right.
You need somebody like me who was crummy at it, learned how to do it, and then they can teach you how they learned.
Right. I think there is an overemphasis on high performance, and that's why we're watching somebody do a marathon, and I can do a 3-hour marathon, and then that's, it's not earth-shatteringly fast but it is pretty quick for a recreational driver.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really, really fast, obviously, and and we only hold up to that standards, and we really don't reward the people who are doing other stuff. Yeah.
And the difference between a good amateur and a crappy professional is light years.
Yeah.
I've been I was a professional dancer, but then I worked for Houston Ballet and saw I'm not in their league. I'm not the same genetic caliber. Same thing, I actually coach a number of professional race car drivers, and it was so funny. Can you show me how to do this? No, but I can teach you how to do it. I'm just not good enough, but you are.
Right.